After your house, buying a car is probably the second biggest purchase you're ever going to make. And so here's the CarWow top 10 things you need to think about when choosing your next car. You need to think about what exactly you plan to use the car for, such as how many passengers you need to carry, how often you're going to use it, where you're going to drive it. For instance, this Toyota Auris, it's a good all-rounder. It's just about got enough space in it for 4 people. Something like this Mitsubishi Outlander, that's great if you need to carry children and their paraphernalia, a child seat or elderly relatives, because its jacked up suspension makes it easy to get in and out of. This Volkswagen Polo, that's a good car if you want to nip round town. It's small, it's nimble, and it's easy to park, and it's got enough space to carry you and your friends, but not great for long journeys compared to something like this Vauxhall Insignia Sports Tourer, which is massive. It's got loads of space in the back. It's very comfy, and being an estate car, it's also brilliant for carrying lots of stuff in its huge boot. You might be looking at this Toyota Auris and thinking that it's got 4 doors. So there's 2 at the front and 2 at the back, that'd be 4 doors. But actually it's classed as a 5-door because you have this big hatchback tailgate. So it's a 5-door car. And it's exactly the same with something like a people carrier or an SUV. You got it? So if we move on to this Golf, look, it seems to have 2 front doors, no rear doors, but because once again you've got that hatchback tailgate, big liftback tailgate, it's a 3-door. Now, if we actually had something like a BMW 3 Series, which has a separate boot, that's a saloon car, that has 4 doors. Or if we had something sporty like a Mazda MX-5 that has 2 doors and a separate boot, that would be a 2-door car. Got it? How many people do you plan to carry in your car? If there's only ever going to be 2 of you, then a sports car with just 2 seats will be fine. However, if you want to carry rear passengers occasionally, but still want something that looks sporty, a 3-door car, such as this Volkswagen Golf, might just do the job, only be wary. They can be a bit of a pain to get in and out of, even though there's actually decent room in the back. If you need to carry lots of people, let's say 7 people in total, including yourself, then you'll want something like this Volkswagen Touran, which has a 3rd row of seats. Great for all the family. If you want to carry stuff as well as people, you need to know about a car's boot capacity, and that's listed in litres, and it allows you to compare the capacity from model to model and manufacturer to manufacturer. So this Volkswagen Golf is a very average size. It's got a 380 litre boot. If we move on to this car here, it's a Vauxhall Insignia. Now it's a bigger car anyway, but it's the estate version, so it's got an even bigger boot than normal because estates have long, square bodies. And this boot capacity is 560 litres. And if you move on to something like an SUV, their boots are not only long, they're also deep as well because the cars are quite high. And as a result, this Volkswagen Tiguan's boot is 615 litres. When you're choosing which car to buy, you haven't only got to think about the model or the make, you've also got to think about which kind of fuel you want to use. Generally speaking, petrol cars are better if you don't do so many miles. If you do loads and loads of miles, a diesel may often work out more economical. Then there's hybrids. So this car, you can fill it up with petrol, but if I come around here, you can also charge it up with electricity, and that's great if you do quite a lot of town miles. And of course, you can get pure electric vehicles as well if you want to just run on electric power alone. As well as the cost to buy a car, you need to think about the cost to insure it, because that can be quite expensive, and it will vary from make to model and depending on engine size and the performance. For instance, this Golf GTI, it's sporty, it's got a high performance engine. It's going to cost more to insure, obviously, than this normal, more sedate version of the Golf. So go on a price comparison website to make sure you can afford to insure the car you want to buy. Depending on the price of your car and its emissions, tax costs will vary. Now it's all very, very complicated to figure out. So the best thing to do is to go to gov.co.uk, as all the rates are explained there. It's better than listening to me rattle on and maybe get it wrong as well. So you're better off doing that for sure. New cars sold in the UK come with some sort of warranty. Most cars get 3 years worth of cover. Some get 5 years, such as this Toyota Auris, while a few get 7 years worth of warranty. Now, to keep it valid, you'll need to have your car properly maintained in accordance with the manufacturer's guidelines. Things like consumables like brakes and tyres, they're not covered, but major mechanical faults should be. But check the small print so there's no nasty surprises. Once you've decided which car to buy, it's worth checking out when that particular model is due to be replaced, because if there's a new one coming along, the dealer will be keen to shift the old stock, and therefore you can bag yourself a bargain. For instance, this is the current Polo, but there will be a new one along in about 6 months, so you might be able to get a great deal on this particular car. The biggest months for car sales are March and September, because that's when the new registration comes out, and a lot of people want the latest registration on their brand new car. However, it's worth considering buying at other times of the year, because often sales aren't so high, so it can mean that you can get a better deal. Now, if you click on that pop-out banner up there, you can go to carwow.co.uk. There you'll be able to build your ideal car, and then you'll get 5 great offers back from top dealers within 24 hours. And you'll be able to compare prices without having to haggle, all from the comfort of your own home. Now, if you click up there on our logo, you can subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, and click on these video windows there to watch more of our content.